One of the things that I love about theology and spirituality is looking at some of the beliefs of ancient cultures that aren't really around anymore because of how we understand science and technology today. And one of the beliefs that is connected to a lot of the ancient cultures centers around what mirrors do. In the ancient Egyptian cultures, they believed that mirrors were gateways or portals into the world of the gods, of the spiritual world, where you could see where people who interacted with the world around us but lived in the spiritual space. In Asian cultures, they believed that the mirror actually was a way to view another world, an opposite world. Because, of course, when you look at a mirror, what the mirror is doing is opposite of what you're doing, the opposite direction, the opposite hand, the opposite perspective. You know, it's fascinating, but Jesus actually talked about a world that was like this, that was opposite, that was upside down from the world we live in today. And in this upside down world, things were backwards from what we see and experience here in this human world. And this world was called the kingdom of God. That in God's kingdom, things are backwards in a lot of ways from the way we live, the way we experience our relationships, our success, even the things that satisfy us. And as we talk about this upside down world, I thought it was really fitting as we entered the holiday season to start with this upside down world concept that in God's kingdom, generosity leads to prosperity. Generosity leads to prosperity. And that sounds backwards, right? It's upside down. That we would think that being generous would actually lead to being in poverty, not prosperity. That being generous would be giving away the things that we should be holding on to. If I give away my money, then I'll be poor. If I give away my stuff, then I won't have anything. If I give away my time, then I'll never have anything for myself. That we think that way here in this world. But remember what Jesus had to say about his kingdom. When he was on trial before Pontius Pilate, he famously said that his kingdom was not of this world. Now, in the Greek, he's not saying that his kingdom is not in this world, because Jesus told the religious leaders when they asked what physical signs would show that the kingdom of God had come, he said, you won't be able to see it with physical signs, because he said the kingdom of God was already here in their midst. So it's not that God's kingdom is not in this world, it's that it's not from this world. It comes from somewhere else. That God's kingdom is different, has a different source, has a different way of doing things. And because of that, it's upside down, it's backwards. And so when we think about this first concept of the upside down world of God's kingdom, that generosity leads to prosperity. What does the Bible have to say about this? Well, there's numerous examples, like, it's better to give than to receive. The Lord loves a cheerful giver. But I was reminded of this proverb in my morning Bible plan today, and it says this in Proverbs chapter 11, verse 25. It says, the generous will prosper. Those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed. Isn't that backwards? That those who are generous will prosper. That those who refresh others actually become refreshed themselves. And like we said, that's upside down from our way of doing things. But think about all the people you know that have a lot of wealth, that have a lot of things, that are like Ebenezer Scrooge, right? It's the holiday season. So, in the story of the Christmas Carol, that Ebenezer Scrooge is a miser. He's got all of this wealth, but he just hoards it. And, what we see in his life is that it doesn't satisfy him. In his old age, it actually leaves him empty and wanting more. And that's the curse of selfishness, that we get and we get and we get, and it never satisfies us. Now, God isn't telling us that he wants us to be broke. He isn't telling us that he doesn't want us to have nice things. He isn't telling us that he doesn't want us to enjoy the life we live. But the proverb, the wisdom here that we find all throughout Scripture is that in God's kingdom, generosity leads to prosperity. Now, a little bit of caution here. Some people have taken this principle and they've twisted it. They've added some lies to it. And they say that if you give, you're actually planting a seed that God is going to give you back multiple times over. That if I give money, God's going to give me money back. And a lot of televangelists have become famous for that line, that giving a seed gift, that God's going to give back to you way, way more money than you gave away. But prosperity isn't always money. Riches and the things that really matter, that make us wealthy, isn't the number in our bank account or the acreage of our property or the brand name on our clothing. It might be the quality of relationships we have. It might be the satisfaction we have in our job or even in ourselves, the peace we have to lay our head down on the pillow at night. That is a type of prosperity this world can't give. So as we look at the holiday season with the glitz and the glamour and the lights and the presents and the bows and all these things, it is nice to get gifts. That's okay. It's okay to have stuff as long as our stuff doesn't have us. But the attitude of God's kingdom in our lives should be generosity. That it is the giving that actually leads to our getting. Even if the things we get aren't tangible, that our generosity leads to prosperity. So as we live in this world, let's remember that we actually belong to the upside down world. That the upside down world of God's kingdom is backwards. And so maybe you'd find ways this holiday season to be more generous. Maybe you'd look for ways to give not just of your treasure, but of your time and your talents. That you would look for ways to be the hands and feet of God in the life of somebody else. And what you might just find is that is way more satisfying than any gift you might ever get for yourself. So generosity really does lead to prosperity. Is that backwards from this world? Oh yeah. But remember, God's kingdom is an upside down world, an upside down way of doing things backwards. But it's actually the way things really should work. So as we start this holiday season, man, I hope this encourages you. And until we hang out again, be blessed.